how you doing?
Hey,
that was
Morgan!
What's up?
Where you been at? He always come in late. He came late yesterday. He gonna come late to the game.
My name is Morgan Taylor. I'm the defensive coordinator at Anacostia High School. This is year 11 of me coaching high school football. I started off coaching in Delaware at Smyrna High School. We're about to be here all night. 2015. So we won a state championship there. Then I stayed there for 2 years. Then I came back home, and I actually took a year off, and then I started coaching at Fairmont Heights High School.
I need you, if we shift, right, it's no point in you being in
Landover, Maryland. And then I started coaching I became the head coach at Richard Wright for a couple years. I was there until 2022. And then I became the offensive coordinator at Kipp College Prep. And then I became the offensive coordinator at Ballou the year we went to the Turkey Bowl. Then I took a year off, and then now I'm here at Anacostia as the defensive coordinator.
What's the play we're gonna get out of this? We're gonna get toss sweep, right? We're gonna get toss sweep. We're gonna get sprint flood, right? So on sprint flood, what do we get here on the outside? We get a vertical.
So where is Anacostia High School? Anacostia High School is located in Ward 8, Southeast Washington, D.C., east of the river, down in the trenches. You know, it don't get no better than we're Anacostia High School. As us being one of the only public schools on the other side of the east of the river, it means a lot. Anacostia is one of the longest tenured high schools in the city, so we truly play for Southeast when we gear up on Friday nights, and you know, put Southeast on our shoulders. So it's just getting the community behind us and getting it going week in and week out. The biggest difference between public and private school football in DC is finances, right? You have people like St. John's who have endowments and boosters like Kevin Plank from Under Armour, and then you have people like Gonzaga, where tuition starts off at $50,000, $40,000. So they kind of like come from money, and then you have people like Friendship, who's built a culture of being a high-level football player. They're not really a private school, but they're a public charter, so they're a little different. They operate a little different on finances-wise and ability-wise. And then you have your true public schools like us, Ballou,
D-line, linebackers, DBs. We got film tonight.
McKinley and Dunbar, where we got to make do with what we got and make it happen when we can. The biggest difference is accessibility, right? I coached in PG County, and I coached in DC before, and I feel like there's more things for kids in DC to do than there is for kids in Maryland. Like, I feel like after school programs are treated differently, and I don't know, I can't really wrap my head around why, but kids in Maryland, I don't know. I don't know if their parents take sports a little bit more serious, or the way the school is set up. But when I got to DC, it was harder for me to get kids to come to practice and workouts than it was for me in Maryland. So, I tried to engrave some of those.
So you need to be,
even for myself,
you do not need to leave the building. I promise you, the food is going to be here before you get
here. Try to
here.
engrave some discipline to have our players show up for activities like it was in Maryland.
We'll probably run out to the...
What is the DMV talent like versus
cool,
the rest of the country? So when you look at it, right, people don't even realize that the DMV has one of the top hardest conferences in the country with the WCAC, right? So you look at the WCAC, you have Good Counsel, Gonzaga, DeMatha, St. John's, McNamara, Carroll, St. Mary Rikins, Paul VI, and all those other schools, right? And at any given time, one of those 4 programs could be in the top 25. Sometimes 2 or 3 of them could be in the top 25 of, the top high schools in the country. So, and growing up with all those kids in this area, you should get to see a lot of good youth, high school sports. It's a lot of good talent. I think sometimes we're overshadowed because we're not a big state like Texas or Georgia or Florida. But if you look at, when teams go out of town, for like example, St. Francis just went out of town and beat one of the top private schools in Florida, 42 to something the other day, 14. So we have a lot of good talent, and sometimes I just believe it gets overshadowed with the bigger states because, it's not an actual state, it's a region. So you're talking about 3 areas in one compared to a California, which is a whole state, and then Texas and whatnot. So I think sometimes we're overshadowed, but it's a lot of guys in this area that can go ball out. A lot of guys. Anacostia hasn't won a state title in a while. They haven't won a state title at all, and they haven't won a gravy bowl or a turkey bowl in a while. So bringing back that energy to Southeast could really, help with keeping kids on the South Side. A lot of kids travel uptown to go play and whatnot, and I feel like if we show that we have the capability of winning on the South Side, kids will want to stay on the South Side, and it'll be better for the community if kids can play in front of their families on Friday nights, and their families don't have to travel all the way uptown, and we can just make it a big thing, a party in the South Side. The type of culture I'm trying to bring to Anacostia is a collegiate but growth mindset for our kids. Most of our kids don't interact with strong male figures, so I tried to bring a coaching staff together that are positive role models, and I try to bring guys to the play collegiate football, understand what it's like to be a college athlete and what it's like to basically grind at an elite level. So from film watching to nutrition to lifting to practicing to game preparation to playing the game and the sportsmanship, the culture of being a high-level football.
Understand the changes that we're going.
The biggest thing is developing young guys to be great men. Once you develop them to be great men, you can do a lot of things with these guys. Right now, I think we're in a good place where they're starting to understand the discipline of what it's like to be a great football player. I think right now we look pretty good where we can do a lot of winning this year. The goal is always make it to the championship, but we take it game by game, brick by brick. Playing high school football was something that changed my life. Being in the program I was in high school, I started off at Flowers, and then some events happened where I ended up having to go to Riverdale Baptist for my last 2 years. But going from that type of environment to the private school environment where it's a little bit more structured and more disciplined than what I was used to, it kind of altered who I was as a man and showed me how to be better, not just for myself, but the people around me. And I think that's part of, when you're developing a program is, how to make people better people for the world around them and not just themselves. Last year's record was 5-7 with a loss in the Gravy Bowl championship game. I think we have the potential to return back to the Gravy Bowl for a championship play. I think with what we're installing into our team defensively, I believe that we can be above 500. Looking at our schedule, we open up with DPA next. This ain't happened overnight. So key factors, of course, is going to be our free safety / wide receiver Xavier Odom. Going into his junior year, kid has 11 interceptions in 2 years, his freshman and sophomore year. I think that kid is going to be really good this year. My middle linebacker, Malachi Hill, kid is all-state wrestler, great kid, very vocal, very passionate, flies around, makes a lot of big plays. He's going to be this year. My defensive line is very strong. I got a lot of good strong play for them in our first couple weeks in my first scrimmages this year, so I'm excited to see what they do. I'm actually excited to see I got a freshman cornerback. He's really, really good. I think he's going to develop to be great if he stays with the program. But then when we look at, our strengths, like I said, are going to be, we're getting well coached, I believe. Our coaching is really good. Got a lot of good guys on our program coaching up. And then I think our biggest weakness is that we don't have depth. We're a small school. We'll probably start the season with 25 guys on our roster, and we're just going to be battling for 12 weeks straight, hopefully, with 25 guys. The goal for our team this year, as we develop our team, is to, take it week by week, brick by brick, one win at a time. I teach the guys it's a playoff game system where each game is the playoff, and we got to win each week to make it to the ship. So it's just slowing down their mentality, not looking too far ahead in order for us to be as successful as we need to be.
This ain't happened, no.